Order. Any items from the public? Yes, sir. State your name again for the record and good morning.
My name is Al Benjamin, retired firefighter after 35 years, New York City fire. I'm here this morning to thank the commission again. And I'm going to be and will be, has been, an absentee from these meetings. After the September 11 terrorist attack, I have a very hard time for the month of September. So I just want to let you guys know that I won't be attending any meetings. I'll be an absentee in the month of September. I just want to thank you again, and I won't be able to continue this meeting, so thank you.
You will be in our thoughts as well as everyone else. Thank you. Any other items from the public? Okay. Motion to approve the agenda if there's no modifications or changes.
So moved.
Have a motion. To have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. Purchase order log. Any questions? Tracy's up here with us today, but do you have any questions on the purchase order log? If not, internal budget revisions. We have none today. Change in status. We have change in status received from Gary Wine, County Administrator, for David Stevens. He is going from Fleet Specialist to Fleet Specialist Supervisor for the salary increase from $51,192 to $58,000 effective September 1. Change in status received from Randy Lilly, Emergency Service Director, for Thomas Presley. He is receiving a step increase for years of service. His salary will go from $68,864 to $70,931 effective September the 16th, 2023. And that's all we have there for change in status. Approval of the minutes for August 31st, 2023. Everybody was present. And then we have a commission calendar.
I had a change in the minutes there, correction, on the, when Eddie and I met with the city officials and other people regarding the pickleball courts, the meeting was at Baltimore Street on their property there, not P.O. Falcon Park. So
Okay.
it involved looking into the possibility, which we have approved since, for pickleball courts to be built there. So if you just correct that part, that'd be great.
Yep. All right. Just, do I need to pull that out, Anthony? Does what's a change? Okay. All righty. Commission calendars, I just came past that. We are here today at 9:30 on Thursday the 14th. And let's see.
Mr. President, you might note that next week's meeting is at 9 instead of 9:30.
Yes, yep, I see that. Sorry about that. Yep, next week we'll be meeting at 9 instead of 9:30 for the refresh my memory. It's
We have an executive
session.
session. We have some employee recognition that you need to do.
right. All righty. Come on down here. September. Fire Board meets tonight at 6:30 p.m. here in this office or this room. On the 18th, 5:30, Main Street, Martinsburg. 6 p.m. Planning Commission. On Tuesday, 9 a.m., WR&R, Commissioner Barnhart will be there. 11:30, Parks and Rec. 5 p.m. Sewer District. 6 p.m. Stormwater. And on the 20th, we have 6 p.m. Solid Waste Authority. Nothing on the 21st or 22nd.
The health board meeting's the 18th up to 22nd, and it'll be in Berkeley Springs.
Okay. Note that change there. And anything else? Nothing there. All right. We have a Development Authority LED grant resolution that we'll need to accept. Maybe that's what Jennifer was coming in for. She might be a little bit late. Okay.
And it's for the resolution of participation with the local economic development grant program.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All righty. Cancel check request from County Clerk's Finance Office. One of those. Have a motion to approve the consent agenda with the modification to the minutes.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. Correction of assessment logs and apportionment of assessment with our own Honorable Larry S. Come on up, Larry.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Got a
What have
bunch
you-
of them today.
What have you got for
Got
us?
a bunch of them today.
Yeah, well, it's, I do have, I've got, actually got for personal property office error, I've got 3 pages, total of, I think 17 of them there. We had to correct last week, or the last 2 weeks, I think, and, for the reasons that's listed on there. All 3 pages, those 17 of personal property office error, the totals up to $7,398 for those 17. I need to get you-
Okay. I have a motion to approve the 17 office error tax exonerations.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. Moved that the exoneration be accepted in the amount of $7,398.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. 8 real estate.
Yeah, I've made of those, we had to correct, for the reasons that's listed there also. And those 8 total up to $6,372.46.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the 8 real estate tax exonerations due to office error? I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. 3 apportionments of assessment due to
Yeah,
final
We got
divorce.
3 divorces we had to write up this time around, so.
Okay,
For all you see, just saying.
just saying.
First
We're listening.
was for James and Carrie Robinson. They had 2 vehicles. Total assessed value is $18,720. We had to separate their billing so they could get separate bill. We had the second one, excuse me, for Megan and Ryan Kearns. They also had 2 vehicles. Total assessed value of $13,470 to split their bill up so they could each pay their half. And the third one is for an Albert and Beverly Blue. Had 2 vehicles also. The total assessed value of $15,645. And we divided their bill up so they could each pay their separate amount. So I need your approval on that today.
Okay. Do I have a motion for the 3 apportionments of assessment to, for per final divorce?
Yes, Mr. President. Make a motion we accept the assessment as presented by the assessor for the redistribution of personal property tax.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. And application for consolidation of property.
Yes, we
Motion
had
to
2 this past to bring over. First was for Timothy Yates. Had 2 properties in the Martinsburg district, map 14, parcel 609, 605. So we consolidated them so they could get 1 tax bill instead of 2. The second one I have is for Kenneth Lambert for Jarrettstown district. He had 2 parcels also in map 8, parcel 17.37 and 17.17. And we consolidated those so he could get a single bill also.
And both are contiguous.
Yes, oh yeah, they have to be contiguous.
All righty. Motion to approve the application for consolidation of property.
I make a motion that we approve both applications for consolidation of property as presented by the assessor.
Okay, have a motion. To have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. Mr.
That's all I
Hess,
have.
thank you. All righty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have board of meeting reports. HD.
Well, a few meetings and a lot of meetings this week, I guess. We had a Roundhouse Foundation meeting on Tuesday. I participated via Zoom because I was at the Governor's Tourism Convention this week. Mostly discussed fundraising efforts in the fundraiser, again, that's coming up October the 7th. advertising and things have started to kick off. We finalized the posters and the handouts and radio spots. We have a few sponsors on that event. Looking forward to it being a good event to raise money for the windows in the top of the roundhouse. There's a big bill there, a lot of windows that need replaced, somewhere upwards of $100,000. So whatever we can do to raise money, we're working to get that done. I guess when those windows were originally put in, they were put in with at a downward slant on the window seal, so the water gets in there and sits and has rotted the bottom of the windows around there. So unfortunately, that's something that needs corrected. And almost all the windows, they have to be how they are because they're historic, so they have to be taken out, wood redone on the bottom, placed in, the sills redone. So the fundraiser on the 7th is a big fundraiser for us. We're hoping to get a great turnout. Tickets are $65 a person. Anybody would like to come and participate and bring a checkbook, that would be great too. And we discussed moving forward. HVAC system is really close. We just need to finish the gas hookups and the electric hookups. And thankfully to Jim Whitaker here, he's coming to cut the line for the gas line to bring.
Not going to cut it. I'm going to dig the ditch to install it. I don't want to cut no
Cut a
gas
line,
lines.
dig a line, yes. But we thank you very much for your donation of those services to dig that line from the edge of the property to the building so we can get that installed. That is big. The full system is installed. Basically, it looks really good. It's an upstairs and the downstairs of the Bridge and Machine Shop. Like I said, it's just awaiting the electric and the gas. The electric will be worked on when they do the elevator and steps, so we hope to be able to tie everything in together then. And Roundhouse Authority was last night. A lot of the same things at the authority meeting that we talked about in the foundation meeting. Then Sunday till Wednesday morning, I attended the governor's convention on tourism. Got to meet a lot of people, network with a lot of people there. Chelsea Ruby, the head of tourism for West Virginia, got to talk to her about some things. Dave Lavender, he's the new head of the film office, which we now have in place here in West Virginia. I don't know if you recall, in January I went down there and met with the economic development folks about pushing to get that office back in place. It is now back in place, and working on tax credits. Talked to them about upcoming American film market that's coming up in California here in the 1st of November to court and market West Virginia and Berkeley County to bring the films back to West Virginia. We did really well with those back in 15 and 16, I believe, when the tax credits were in place. The tax credits are back in place now, and the good thing about it now is there's no cap on those credits. There used to be a cap where they could only get so many tax credits. So now we can actually push to get Lifetime movies and maybe Netflix movies and a lot of other things that could come in Berkeley County and throughout the state. But Berkeley County CVB worked and teamed up with the state. We are direct partners on the project with the state, West Virginia, and a lot of other counties are now inquiring, and hopefully they'll get on board next year. It's a little late this year. We got the last spot though in California for this convention. It's a very big convention. All the filmmakers from all over the world will be there, and hopefully we can convince them that West Virginia and particularly Berkeley County are a good place to come and do film. And with that brings a lot of tax dollars to Berkeley County and to the state. They right now we're at about 73% occupancy on our hotels here in Berkeley County, down from where we were then at a 95+% occupancy when the films were filming. When those film crews are here, they book up the hotels, they buy up antiques. They actually were getting ready to set up a whole studio at the airport before the tax credit went away, and that kind of went by the wayside. They were going to get a whole hangar out there and have a whole production studio going on. But we hope to maybe bring some of that back. That's the goal. Other things that happened at the convention, the governor was there and he spoke. This year, West Virginia, for the first time in a long time, is one of the top states for tourism in the state, in the whole United States. Since 2019, pre-pandemic, we are up 17% higher in tourism than we were then, and the rest of the United States is only up 1%. Our revenue from tourism this year was $7 billion in 22 from tourism, which netted $520 million in tax dollars to counties and municipalities throughout the state. We had 30 times our population. We had 32 to 33 million visitors last year come through West Virginia for tourism. Our state population 1.7 million, and of that money and the tax money that comes through, that also allotted to pay for 10,100 of our teachers here in West Virginia last year, just off tourism money alone. So learned a lot of things. Like I said, again, networked with a lot of people, networked with Jefferson County. They're doing a great job with some of their things. We did workshops on reels and advertising to get people in, and I think that's a big thing that I plan to work closely with the CVB with doing to really up our presence as Berkeley County. And I think working towards this museum will be big for that, for tourism and some other things. So I'll quit there. I'm a little long-winded, but there you go.
Sound like you had a pretty good week.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, move on, Mr. President. I was asked during the Labor Day breakfast about the recreation of the rail strike.
Mhm.
Is that something that the Roundhouse is involved in?
Yeah, I believe so. I think Elaine was working on that. We do a thing there every year for the raid on the Roundhouse, but we had been talking about doing a recreation strike. We were the first union strike in America, and that's a big draw for us. And that's a big importance of restoring this Roundhouse and getting it open for things. But yeah, that is an event. I believe that's this year or next year. I think they're working on. I don't have the information.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah, I'll find out and let you know.
Well, if they don't get something situated by midnight tonight, there's gonna be a pretty big strike, so.
Yeah.
There goes our eight explorers we've been waiting on for 16
Months, yeah. Mr. Barnhart,
Well, thank you, Mr. President. I had a Berkeley County Public Service Water District meeting Monday. They considered the second supplemental resolution authorizing the extension of the maturity date of the water revenue bond, which is at 1.26%, believe it or not. They discussed any action about the drought management plan. And of course, that's mostly due to South Berkeley. The yield of Lefevre Spring right now is 1,000 gallons a minute. The lowest it's ever been was at the last drought, I don't remember the year, 800 gallons a minute. So it's approaching that. The optimal flow is 2,500 gallons per minute. So they're really working hard on getting water from the river plant far south as they can get it. Of course, they can't get river water clear to Bunker Hill, but they can get river water to the airport and areas like that to try to relieve the pressure on Lefevre Springs. All they're, of course, doing now is warning people, don't water your lawns, don't wash your cars, that kind of stuff. But the drought plan was written, I think, revised in 2022.
Thank God with the agreement with the city of Martinsburg, we have
Yeah.
access to water at Big Springs. And,
Yeah.
what I understand, we're only using 500,000 a day, and we can use up to 1 million a
Yeah.
day if needed. So,
Yeah, and that'll really help.
yeah.
The good news about the drought is the systems that rely on well water, that's Glenwood Forest and the woods, and then there's some wells that supplement the Berkeley County. Those wells are only down 1 to 2 feet. So that's the good news. And then they went into executive session, so I missed all that. And then I had a Region 9 Planning and Development Council meeting Tuesday. Jennifer was there, and we course, elected a new vice chair because the previous vice chair was Helen Detmer, who was mayor of Bolivar, and she decided not to run again. So we elected Lynn Goodman, who is from Morgan County, as our vice chair. Of course, I'm chair. And then we had a talk by Mr. King from the State Office of Dilapidated Housing things that he told us how it worked. And Suzanne, I don't remember her last name. She used to work for us.
Henderson.
Is kind of working with that. So if you have any questions, you can always contact her. And Jennifer gave an update on Rachel. She had a baby. What was Jennifer? Do you remember the name? Lucas. And then some normal things. Just a pretty good meeting.
Good. All right, Mr. Catlett.
The only meeting I had this week was farmland protection, and I was not able to attend that, so I have nothing to report.
All right, Eddie, how about you?
Yes, sir. LAPC meeting this week, and they're currently working on a regional and full-scale exercise. They will also be doing an exercise on mass casualty, and that will probably be close to the second week of December, which it could be rail, it could be on the highways, I'm not sure, or air. I'm not sure exactly what their plan is there, but they're exercising their abilities. And they work very closely with the air show group in the coordination of police, fire, EMS, DOH. That was, they kind of gave a rundown on that. That was very well planned out and executed as well. And thank all the partners involved there. On September 21 and 22, they're having a rail and pipeline training class at the VA Center. On October the 4th will be a nationwide alert. Now they did that alert a number of years ago, and it was pretty much a failure. So they're hoping that by now they've got everything in place, but you will receive an alert on your phone. It will be an iPause alert, very similar to an Amber Alert on October the 4th. It's a test of the system. Development Authority met yesterday. The American Water has been invited to give them information on what they can do in the county. So that's moving forward with them. She's always got projects moving, so always something happen with the Development Authority.
Ever happen in the area.
We're fortunate for that.
Yeah.
And for those who do not know, our Parks and Rec director has resigned, and that search for that director will, if it hasn't already started, will be starting very soon.
Commence.
So.
Sorry, it's a bill.
Want me to get that?
Yeah.
Give us the extended warning on his call.
Car, yeah, that's what
Actually, it was my doctor.
Take your doctor call.
Yeah.
I had an airport authority meeting on Monday. They did a little bit of a recap from the air show, where the biggest hurdle that we had, of course, was getting more volunteers, and that would be the ultimate thing, to have about another 150 volunteers for the air show. But Nick did say people showed up and could see that there was a need, and he ended up giving out T-shirts, and people stepped right on up and made it happen and did a great event out there. Some of the budget items, revenues were $334,000. We had the cost of goods sold, which was $111,000, and then expenditures was $193,000. And then they received a grant for $37,500. I didn't get down to the where it came from. I thought it was the Department of Transportation, maybe. I can't remember. She read it off pretty fast, and I can't write that fast. So it's probably in this packet here. Charter market is okay on the on our charter charter service, but it's still needing some attention brought to it. So we're looking at different things there to try to accomplish. The air show attendance was about 17,000 on Saturday and 13,000 on Sunday. I thought it could have been a little bit more than that, but that was the average that they attended. So, and they received a $25,000 grant from First Energy for the old building out there to turn it into a pavilion right near the educational park for the kids. So the plan is to take that building and possibly do like a warming area for if somebody wants to rent it, you know, for an event, whether it be a reunion, a birthday party or something, and it would, you know, they'll be able to have the amenities there to make that happen. So
Didn't they get a check from the governor as well?
they did. They
Is that part of that?
no, that's not part of that. They the governor, with the thank you letter we sent out to the governor for his support of the air show was greatly appreciated, and I think the airport sent out their own thank you to the governor for that too. So
You got the big cardboard.
yeah. And there's discussion about how government contracts work for military aircraft and buying fuel or selling fuel to military personnel. And whenever one of those, if a C-5 would come in, they usually get their fuel from the base over there. But if they would start doing transient aircraft, they have to be able to provide a certain service for a certain amount. And we would struggle with the amount of fuel because of our fuel farm is only a certain size, and it wouldn't take long to suck that tank dry to fill up a larger cargo airplane versus some of the helicopters, the Black Hawks that come through. So they're looking into whether or not that they could have the RFQ designed where they would be certain weight aircraft that we would qualify for the pricing to do. So they're looking into that right now. So, and that's about all I had on my meetings. I did meet with the Development Authority a little bit, not the authority, with Jennifer and Jim Linsenmeyer yesterday. So that was about it. Anything else for the good?
I got one question. When they do the air show, like the government planes that fly, like the
22 Raptor and
the Raptor and then the
C5,
cargos, who pays for the fuel for that? Is that government paid for?
that was all supplied by the Air Guard for their fuel.
That's what I figured.
That'd be
a big bill.
That would be a pretty big bill. But the other acts that flown in, like the air show acts or the static displays, some of those, they would get a discount fuel rate, or they would just pay their own to come in. So,
Wow.
so yeah. But now the performers, it was a flat fee for their show. So.
Right.
I hope I said that right. If not, Nick will let me know. Alrighty. Reappointment packet received from Steve Roach for the Berkeley County Building Commission. His term expired on the 4th. Do I have a motion? You can go ahead and reappoint Steve if somebody willing to make that motion.
Yeah, so moved.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. We'll let Steve know that he's been reappointed. Thank you, sir, ma'am. New application received from Robert Mahaffey for the library board, so we'll bring him in for an interview. Is that okay? And we're right on time here. We got Tracy Gilliams, grants administrator, request to apply for BBH Adult Mental Health Grant, FY24. There she is.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is a reapplication, and it will pay for, it's $80,000. Total project is $124,736.32. It will pay for 2 peer coach salaries at $80,000. The balance of salaries is $6,270.88, with both of their fringes totaling $32,194.56, with a total match of the balance of the salary and fringe of $38,465.44.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the grant for the BBH Adult Mental Health?
So moved.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries. Thank you. Next up, we have a board candidate for Senior Services Board, Mr. Collison. Good to have you here this morning. Come on up and tell us a little bit about yourself that we don't know.
Yeah.
Good to have you here this morning.
Thank you, Commissioners. Thank you very much. Ken Collinson, 511 Lincoln Drive, Martinsburg, West Virginia. Obviously, I know each one of you. I appreciate the time. I'll tell you what, I had been invited to the Senior Center the last several years at the Christmas party. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I didn't go as myself. I went with somebody else and had a blast. And last year I didn't. I was down to the youth fair. Richard Dennis said, there's an opening. Would you think about it? He told me when it was. So I went home 3 days later. Amy Orndorff sends me an application. And I thought about it, and I thought, well, it'd be an opportunity to. I have volunteered with the United Way's Thriving Children Council. I'm on the Martin Luther King Scholarship Committee as their secretary. I'm on the Eastern Panhandle Federal Credit Union Board of Directors as their secretary. I'm also on the Martinsburg City Council, and I'm the liaison for the city for the Parks and Rec. So I like to stay involved, and I like to be involved in the community, and I thought this was an opportunity. This white hair has been here for a while, but I'm starting to get old, and it'd be an opportunity. Richard said it'd be an opportunity I could go and help serve and just kind of meet with like-minded, age-minded individuals. So it'd be an opportunity to continue to serve the community.
Well, we most certainly thank you for applying. If HD has any, we'll start with HD. If he has any questions for you, or
Well, you do a lot.
It keeps me out of trouble.
But yeah, I mean, they definitely need another person there, and I think you would fit in. I won't make too many jokes, but you might be finding out where you hang out soon.
Well, I can tell you, I know you're all West Virginia fans, but Friday night I'll be down at the Maryland game. I'm a Maryland fan, so. But no, if you would consider me, I would appreciate it, and I would try not just to be a board member to monthly meetings. I would also try to attend during the winter months, definitely. Take away from my bike riding and golf, but during the winter to help serve and to be there as an active member. So.
It's a great place, and
it is,
they
and
have some good people
it
there.
serves.
They have some great people there now, but yeah.
Very much so. Well, it serves the community, and as we age into eloquence, let's say, that I would like to be able to help that population.
so. Mr. Barnhart.
Getting old is not for wimps, I tell you.
Well, they used to say, you had one doctor, and after you turn 60, now you have like 7 doctors.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
Yes.
they gang up on you, and everyone wants to probe.
I'm not giving there, sir.
They're probing me, and I don't like it.
They're just trying to make sure you're not an alien.
Yeah. Do you have any plans? You said you want to be an active member, and that's great. But do you have any needs or plans for the senior center? Or any
I'll be
goals?
honest with you. No, not off. Obviously, I would go in and assimilate myself to make. I'm not coming in saying yes, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. But whatever is needed, whatever the leadership is saying, I would definitely follow through and continue. And hopefully, we can. Once there, look at it and say, "Oh, hopefully, let's try this or that," and collectively we'll. But I'm not. I don't have an intention to say I'm going in there to run it. I'm going in there. I'm just going to assist as a board member.
One of my goals, and I've tried this before, didn't get anywhere, but and not being a member of the senior center staff or the board of directors or anything like that, but my wife is very active in Meals on Wheels, and I would love to see senior center coordinate with Meals on Wheels and social services of all kinds,
To utilize those,
well, to broaden the reach out to the senior people. I'm sure there's an unmet need for the senior community who don't get to the senior center or wish they did but don't know about it or anything like this, to broaden the desire.
a greater outreach, yes.
Yeah, yes. That's just, one thing I've really have felt is needed. So, keep that in mind.
Appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
So you're kind of hoping if Linda kicks you out alongside the road,
Well,
somebody
yeah, I
come by and
could,
pick you
well,
up?
we have a barn, so I would just move in.
Oh, okay, all right. Steve, you have anything?
On the senior board with Gary, Ken, and obviously we'd love to have you on there. Right now, all the positions are full, but we expect an opening by the end of this calendar year.
Okay.
So,
And I didn't know, Richard just said,
yeah. At the
approached
time
me.
when he talked to you, there was actually 2 openings, and we
Okay.
filled those in the last few months, but we will have another one first of the year, and at this point, I'm sure you'll be the top candidate to replace that person.
Well, I was just hoping you
You
consider me.
forgot to mention on your resume there that you're a volunteer at Labor Day breakfast every year too. Regardless if it's election year or not, you're always there.
Well, I've said this, and
Yeah.
somebody said, you only do it, I said, I did it 7, 8 years before I ever ran for public office. And I'll
Absolutely.
do it 7, 8 years after I'm done, hopefully. it will.
So we know your work ethic and what you're all about, and we'd love to have you on board there. So.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Eddie?
Yes, sir. Ken and I have worked together on several different platforms. But I think probably one that means so much to both of us has been the Relay for Life. Your commitment there, your
I
energy.
apologize, I didn't mention that. And we've both been committed to that. And I was co-chair for 2 years in Berkeley County, chair of the event for 3 years. Still getting old, and it's hard to put all those outfits on. I do, but Eddie has. If anybody wants pictures, Eddie's probably got them of me wearing tutus and whatever. And somebody said, "You'd do anything." I said, "I'd do anything legal for Relay for Life to raise money for those individuals that, and hopefully someday." But I'm still on the. They call it event leadership, whatever it is now, and I still, and that is probably the dearest thing to me. I have a family of survivors that I'm fortunate to know those individuals. I appreciate Eddie. I know he's there also, and Candy both there. So,
We all got reasons to be
yes.
there, especially. But I just know and appreciate your commitment that when you agree to be a part of something, you're all in, and that's really important. You don't sidestep responsibilities or opportunities to make things better. So I'm like Mr. Catlett. I'm sure you'd be a great addition there. So when that opportunity comes up, I would hope that you would get that appointment.
Thank you for this comment. Thank you very much.
You also spent some time at the airport on the authority, and
2015 and 2018, and I got renewed in 2018 and 2021. As I was coming off, you were
just coming on.
just coming on, Jim. Yes, and I had an opportunity to work. After 6 years, I felt that it was time for new eyes to kind of. I thought that when I first got on the board, really made a move, and one of the greatest things we did was to hire Nick, and then get in that position, and it's continued great success.
It just shows your commitment to make Berkeley County better and as a whole. And I want to thank you for that. That's for sure. And there's nothing that I could ask you that we probably haven't already talked about before at the Labor Day breakfast or just out and about. So we want to again thank you for that, and I'm sure we'll be in touch here pretty soon.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Thank you. Just may I,
Sure,
if I may,
sure.
the Red Train robbery.
Mm-hmm.
Elaine's been in touch with the Central Labor Council. Next year, they're going to try to do a small event. The celebration is in 2025.
Okay.
Is it 200,
Centennial.
250th? I don't.
There's a train robbery to the strike.
The strike. I'm sorry. I said yes. The strike. Yes. Yeah. So they're going to try to do in 2024. They want to do something. Just that,
Preempted. Yeah.
and then 2025 actually, and with the intent of actually asking the National AFL-CIO from DC to come up and, to make it an event,
Okay,
a giant draw for the Roundhouse.
very good.
So there is some conversation.
Sounds good.
And then you mentioned something about, I may be totally inappropriate, and your legal individual can throw me out. You mentioned something about something happening tonight. It could very happen. It might be a strike tonight.
Yeah.
And I don't know who I'd go to. On the corner of GM Access Road and Route 9, there's a light pole that's out. And if there were to be some kind of strike or a safety thing, it would be nice to have that light fixed. I don't know who's responsible.
Is it DOH light? Is it on?
I think it's a
poles?
DOH light.
Yeah,
So, but I told the individuals I would.
okay.
So thank you very much. I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Ken.
One that, go on. I was talking to our division of community service or where, and he indicated they had updated the application for boards and commissions. And he'd given it to IT to put on the internet.
Oh, you're talking about the application, paper
Yeah.
application, it's
Yeah.
already updated.
Yeah.
Just little bells and whistles.
Yeah, but it's
matters
now
that
on the internet, so people can actually type.
It's
in.
fillable.
Yeah,
PDF like or
yeah.
Okay.
So that's an improvement.
The only reason why I know PDF is because somebody else told me about it.
It mentioned about that train robbery, and I always think back, our own Lieutenant Emmett Roush was a young state trooper here at that time and participated in that apprehension of the robbers of the train. It's just a little tidbit.
Really?
Pretty cool. You know?
That was the last train robbery in America, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
and he was a great individual. He retired from West Virginia State Police as a lieutenant, and then later on became a West Virginia State Fire Marshal. Great friend, and miss him dearly. But
Okay. Well, next up is our own Barb Frankenberry, Shenandoah Valley Chapter National Society of Daughters of the American Revolution. Barb, good to see you and welcome again.
Thank you. It feels like I was just here.
I thought you were.
And it probably does for you all too, I know. Constitution Week actually begins on Sunday, September 17th. And it's a very important time, and it always has been, but most definitely now. But each year I read this to you, and I hope you had a chance to read it, because, Mr. Chairman, I would like to do something a little different this morning.
Okay.
All right? You know, I was an educator for 44 years, and I think of myself as still being an educator. It's fun, and I'm going to ask you some questions. Everybody, Deanna, she just read it. This is something that we put out about the Constitution, and it says some little known facts about the United States Constitution. The U.S. Constitution is the oldest and shortest of any major government in the world. It contains only, how many words? Anybody take a guess? Yes?
4,000 something.
Thank you, Deanna. She just read it. 4,400. Now that's pretty darn good, isn't it? And to last as long as it has. Okay. It's the oldest and shortest, right? Of our founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson and John Adams were unable to attend the Constitutional Convention and did not sign it. Why? Be quiet, Deanna. They were out, I'll say this, they were out of town. They were out of the country.
They were in France. They were in France. Trying to
Pardon?
recruit.
What? Go
They
ahead.
were in France.
One of them.
Okay, with Ben Franklin.
mark him wrong. Red.
Hey, Matt, I know you're the history guy. Come on up here and help us out.
Thomas Jefferson was in France,
Okay.
and Ben Franklin was in, I'm sorry, John Adams was in Great Britain. Okay, good job. That's for you. A star is coming, okay? Now, the word democracy, now listen carefully, is not in the Constitution at all. And that's because the United States is actually a...
Republic.
Ding, 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 ding. Good job. Very good. It is a republic. And it says of the 42 delegates who attended most meetings, how many signed it?
23.
Come on.
I know one that did, John Hancock.
Can I phone a friend? I'm gonna call Candy for a minute.
Actually, 39.
39.
And you remember that now. You've heard that, correct?
Yeah, I was gonna say 40, because you said the two were missing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
2 minus 42.
Good thinking. Yeah, very good. Benjamin Franklin, now he was 81. Now we're talking about age a lot lately. Known as the first American, was oldest American to sign. He was carried into the hall on a sedan chair. We all familiar with something like that, even though we haven't been ridden one probably, by the prisoners. He was carried by the prisoners, and he needed help signing and had tears running down his eyes, his cheeks. It meant so much to him. So, all right. George Washington and James Madison were the only future presidents who signed the Constitution. All righty? See, that wasn't a question.
I was wondering if it's true
I did
or
good,
false.
right? Okay. Since 1791, the Constitution has only been amended. Anybody know how many times? Never mind. 17. And how many amendments are there, though?
Well, the first 10 amendments of the Bill of Rights.
Yeah,
And
good
there's
job.
27?
Yes, yes, yes. I'm counting it. It is. There are 27 amendments. All righty. Now, let's go on. James Madison was the only delegate who attended every meeting. And you know what he did? He took detailed notes of everything, on every debate, discussion, and his journal was kept a secret until after he died. How about that? Maybe somebody was afraid he would tell something. No, I don't know why, but I think that's important. I'm a big person for keeping track of historical information, and I don't think we do enough of that today. The opening, "We the People," was used at the last minute. In earlier drafts, it read, "We the people of the states of," and it listed every single state that was represented. So I think keeping it simple was the best way. And plus, we can remember that, can't we? Yeah. The Bill of Rights are not actually in the original document, okay? They are the first 10 amendments, Mr. Whitaker, our chairman, and presented by James Madison, excuse me. James Madison was considered what? What's he known as? Come on. Who wrote the Constitution?
Jefferson.
Thomas Jefferson.
Jefferson wrote it.
Actually, James Madison is considered the father of the Constitution. He really is. He put a lot of effort into it. But today, it is now the 36th anniversary of our Constitution. And it makes me very happy and proud to be here today and have my Shenandoah Valley people with me who come and support the fact that this is a very important day. And I would invite you, here it comes, on Sunday. Now, I know you're going to be with your families probably, but at 4 o'clock, we're going to be ringing bells on the steps of our Berkeley County Courthouse. Believe it or not, I've gotten people to come just by saying one time this, Walter Byers walked up and he had his bell with him and I said, "You're here." He said, "You told me I need to be here." And he came. So maybe I should say that. I would like to, for all of you, or spread the word that it is Bells Across America. It is a national activity. It's not just us here in Berkeley County. So it sure would be fun to see some of you all maybe be able to be there, okay? Now, thank you for letting me digress.
Would you,
And you've learned something?
tried to, but would you read the proclamation?
Oh,
Do you have it in front of you?
Oh, see, I did the other thing instead, so you all didn't have to listen to me read it. But I'll be glad to.
If you have it there, go right ahead. Okay. We'll let you read
Thank
it.
you, Penny. Yeah. Whereas the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution sponsors September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week each year, and whereas September 17th, 2023 marks the 236th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention, and whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic celebration which will commemorate the occasion, and whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States designing September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Berkeley County Commission, Martinsburg, West Virginia, and the Shenandoah Valley Chapter in SDAR hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week, and ask our citizens to affirm the ideals of the framers of the Constitution that they had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through this guardian of our liberties, remembering that lost rights may never be regained.
That is true.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any questions?
No, but
Good.
but I'd like to have a motion to adopt the proclamation for the Shenandoah Valley Chapter National Society Daughters of the American Revolution.
So moved, sir.
Have a motion, or do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, we will sign it and get some pictures here.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break and get some pictures. Yeah. Sorry, Tracy. Okay, next on the agenda is Gary Wine, County Administrator, Declaration of Surplus Property.
Thank you, Mr. President. You have a request. We actually have notification from the sheriff that he has 2 deputies that are retiring. Captain Gardner, with the start date of 9/1/1995, so he's got in 33 years almost. And then Sergeant Boyles, start date 10/1/02, got about 21 years in. As you well know, typical fashion is they're presented with their service weapon upon retirement. That process begins with the county commission declaring those items surplus. That's 2 Glock 17 Generation 5, 9mm. First one serial number BHGH815. The second one is BFGH841. You declare them surplus, and next week, the reason that your meeting is starting early is you're going to recognize those officers and have them enjoy the next step in their life, like Mr. Barnhart. Just enjoy.
Come back in here every Thursday and wreak havoc.
Maybe so.
That works for me.
All right.
So you just need to approve it and sign the order, and they'll be surplus, and we can move forward.
Move forward. All righty. Do I have a motion to declare these 2 items as surplus?
Yes, Mr. President, motion to accept the county administrator's direction and recommendation on surplus property for 2 pistols, Glock model 17 Gen 5.
Have a motion to have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. You know, I probably should have taken care of that before break because I just didn't read far enough on the agenda. How about that? Any items from the public? Mr. Barnhart,
Well, thank you, Mr. President. You know, I think I would really like to move to recess.
we are in recess.